The dark truth about these Los Angeles fires, it is not an act of God. It is a lack of action from man. They're trying to frame it in the media. Oh, we've never seen winds like this. Look, of course, it is a perfect storm and the winds are going the right way. But there's acts of God that happen all the time. We have hurricanes, we have tsunamis, we have earthquakes. And then you use your agency as a human being. And this is not the first fire. We had the 2018 fires. We had the 2020 fires. And they just kind of live in Los Angeles with this sword of Damocles above them. All right, joining us now is Steve Hilton. Steve Hilton is Mr. California, great American and great friend. Steve, welcome to the program. I wish it was under better circumstances.
I know.
Please give us your analysis of what led to this. Our take here on this program is that this is largely preventable, and the politics of California got in the way. Steve, your thoughts?
Charlie, you're totally right. I just want to, I'm sorry, I'm running around today. I'm here in LA. It's kind of chaotic. I wanted to be with you earlier, but I was listening to what you're saying, and you're completely right. This is what you get when Democrats get everything that they want. That's what's happened in California. For more than a decade, they've had complete control. And every single aspect of this crisis, the problems, the long-term problems caused by this terrible combination of incompetence and ideological extremism. So exactly as you've been laying out on the water situation, we can have all the water we need in California. My policy organization, Golden Together, we've been putting out policy reports month after month, one of them called Water Abundance, but they haven't done it. We could be keeping the forests, not just in the Sierras and where all the mountains are, and that point's been made that this is not a forest, this is LA, this is a city. Yeah, but it's the same principle. The chaparral, the conditions on those hillsides, they've been prevented. I know people personally who've tried to clear the brush on their property and have been prevented by officials and bureaucrats captured by this ideological extremism. And here's another point that people aren't talking about enough, Charlie, the short-term point, the devastating fear that people have because of the insurance crisis. So people have been saying, well, the insurance companies have pulled out of California. All these people aren't insured. What are they going to do? Yeah, but why have they pulled out? That also is the result of Democrat policy. Why? Because it costs so much to build anything here. That because of the environmental regulations, the labor regulations. So rebuilding costs are so high. That's why insurance companies have pulled out. And on top of that, they have artificially capped the rates that insurers can charge. That's Democrat policy as well. So every single aspect of this. And one last point, right? They say Gavin Newsom, you saw him waving his arms around and saying you can't politicize this. Well, hang on a second. What do? The second that there's one of these dreadful mass shootings, they are right in there before the bodies are even buried, blaming Republicans, demanding policy change. So we're not going to take any of this crap from them. This is exactly the right time to point out that their failures have made this crisis immeasurably worse for millions of people.
So, Steve, we only have a minute and a half remaining. The tragedy is unspeakable. I don't want to go into any of the detail of that, but you have a whole book here, Caliphalia, Reversing the Ruin of America's Worst-Run State. Steve, is in your political calculus, which I hate going there too quickly, do you think this could be the beginning of the end of the Democrat monopoly of America's most beautiful state?
Well, it has to be, Charlie, because we have to have change in California. Anyone who didn't realize that before this surely must now realize this. And it's interesting to me that people are not holding back. They're not saying, well, let's talk about all this after the event. There's so much anger here because these points have been made for years now. This is not some new discovery that we need to manage our forests better, or that we need to capture the abundant water we have and collect it and store it and get it to where it's needed. None of this is new. We've been going on about it for years. And so this is a wake-up moment because we've got to make sure nothing like this happens again and put in place the common sense policies that will build up our infrastructure, prepare us for natural disasters. Look, disasters happen everywhere, but in places that are badly run, the impact is far worse, and there is nowhere worse run than California. You just compare it to the kind of response you get in well-run states like Florida. I mean, there's just no comparison. And so, yes, this is the moment to say we badly need change in California. We need common sense change, and we've got to fight for it.
Steve, Steve, you know I have a heart for California. I spend the second most time of any state I spend is in California. Arizona, number 1. Well, Florida's now rising. But California be number 2. Steve, you should run for office. Think about it. We need new leadership there. Steve, thanks so much.
I am. Thank you, Charlie.
Oh, is it official now? You are going to run for something? We'll have to have you back on. Because California needs a new governor.
That's the next conversation.
Anytime, Steve, we're behind you.